Hello everyone, E here, welcome to yet another LEGO Hogwarts video. As always, looking forward to your comments regarding the changes I'm about to show you in this update, so without further ado, let's get into it. Well, the time has come to once again focus on the garden. And I'm trying to do several things here. First of all, I will try to, well, there's a lot of dust here actually. I need to clean these things, these modules before starting to upgrade them. But what I was trying to say is I don't want to have all that many open studs. I will try to add a lot more vegetation. Now I'm not really sure exactly what kind of vegetation and how I will position it, but will do my best to hide all the studs as much as possible. Maybe I will even remove some of these bushes as they are too basic, but probably not all of them. And also I will try to change the texture of the layout. This path, I've been told several times that it's too, well, straight. So I will place some different plates to create some angles, or at least I will give my best to try to make it a little bit more interesting rather than just a straight line. As for the path itself, I feel I like the composition with the 2x2s and 1x1s, plates and tiles, and this coloration. I don't really want to add more colors. I see several different variations when it comes to a foresty path with stones and kibble or whatever, but I feel like this is good enough for the time being, so I'm planning not to change that. So looking at it, especially through the camera lens, actually let's extract all of this, give it a little bit of a care with the vacuum cleaner, maybe even put it under the sink and wash it, and then start on one of the modules, see what I can do, and how long this actually will take, and how much progress I'll be able to do for this video update. Alrighty, I've been doing some building the past few days. Here is the Great Hall without the garden modules, in case you have not seen it ever or you've not seen it in a while. And here are some of the done modules that are already completed. These actually take quite a while to construct. First of all, what I do is I actually clean them very well under the sink because they were dusty again, and since they're very modular and easily cleanable, it's actually efficient to clean them with water rather than with a vacuum or a brush. But anyway, after that, and they dried up a little bit, I started one by one. This is I think the first one that I did, and for comparison, here is one of the old ones, which is pretty much dry now, and I'll be working later on, but it will be a bit more difficult because these ones have the rock work behind them, so I'll have to keep an eye on that so I don't ruin the patterns. But yeah, these are from the back, so I basically did from this section here all the way up to the corner over there. So now I'm going to do the two corner ones and then the ones on the back side. I've actually cleaned up a little bit with the parts here, so I can film this and actually can take a break, and then I will do this stretch with the rock work. But let's talk about what I have done. So I have tried different things and ended up with this result. Now I will try to explain to you what exactly my idea is. Now, first of all, one of the things that people said initially, maybe a year ago when I implemented this whole thing, is that the pathway is too narrow and also too straight. So I placed a pattern of angular plates and then built the vegetation on top of that. So now when you look from, well, above, the path is kind of not so straight anymore, which is a bit better. Now ideally it would be even curvier, you know, but first there isn't enough space, and second of all, this isn't a natural forest trail. It's more like a man created one, which means it makes sense for it to be straight, but I did agree the angular shapes were too straight, so this is a lot better. As you can see here, it's going in different directions and angles. Now the other thing, the bushes, I decided to keep them, and I did as much as variety as I could with the pieces that I have. Now the main thing that you see is a lot of different colors, and the reasoning behind this is I tried to be inspired by the different gardens that I have seen around castles, mainly in Switzerland and Germany. We have basically wherever there is somebody taking care of such big gardens, we have different bulks of different type of vegetation. That's the way I've seen it, and I went with that. The other option would have been to implement, for example, over here to have maybe 3-4 colors, different leaves, but that would have been too confusing. I kind of like the idea of these clumps. So all in all, I think that this is pretty nice. I've kept the braziers again, and these, enriching them a little bit. Then I changed the flowers to reddish brown, because just to stick out a little bit. Now over here, some places you might be able to see, over here there will be some rock work, that's why I removed everything. That's because it's connecting to the other part that is not yet done. Now let's actually place some of them together. This is the next module over here. Let's connect it slightly. And yeah, the angles are all fine over here. And then we have this one last. Maybe I should have shown it to you placed in the Great Hall, but yeah, that's how they basically connect. And yeah, the trail here ends with the building that is over here. And yeah, we have different clumps of different flowers, different leaves. I tried to basically enrich them differently. For example, on these ones, we have these dark red tops, and we also have the dark red tops over here on the yellow ones, and then we have these moss green tops over here on this type of green. I believe it's bright green, and also over here in these dark green. And I just try to be creative, you know, and not try different colors with all the different pieces that I have, which are actually plenty, but still I believe if I had even more of a variety of pieces, I would have done it better. But this is actually a big improvement to what it was before. And let's place it next to it, and just, yeah, it's a big difference. This was very, very bland, but it was the initial thing that I did. And also I reinforced the structure over here with these different plates. There were a lot of holes like this. Now there are almost no holes really, but other than some different colorations, but this will be covered in the end, so I would rather not waste pieces where needed in the colors that are important. So yeah, that will be covered, and even if some of it will not be covered, I will change it as I am working on the rock work that will be sticking out here. But that's for the future. But yeah, this is what I have done. So there's 3 modules. This little section comes from here up to here-ish, yeah. And this rock pattern, this little rock thing, needs to go somewhere here, but I will place it once I actually connect the next module, just to see. One other thing that I had to be very careful to do was that whenever we get to these pillars, I need to be careful with the leaves, because if a stud actually placed on this hits on this row, and but if you place a leaf, for example, on a stud behind it, the leaf itself goes just underneath this this row of plates. So that's very important. I really didn't want to have open studs anywhere, and you can see some of them here and there, but these are covered by, well, by either the pillars or different stuff. So once you place this, it's actually fine. Now, I am thinking maybe to cover more of these open leaves. I don't want all of them to be covered like this, for example. I don't want too much of a different colors popping out, but maybe a little bit more. So yeah, we'll see what I am gonna come up with as I keep building. I also made these flowers here just for a little bit of a variety, but I placed them very rarely. So there is one here, one here, one here. So overall there are 3 of them so far. So I'll probably make another 3 or 4. It's something that will not be occurring very often. But other than that, I feel like this is very nice. It is very time consuming and but actually very fun to do. But yeah, it takes a lot of time. I believe these 3 modules took me, I don't know, maybe 8 hours of building, something like that, maybe 10. Not really sure now, but I was taking breaks obviously and not really doing it one in one day. But it was, yeah, it takes time because I need to place a leaf one by one. It's like putting a little carpet together just to cover all the open studs, and then you spin it around, you play with the angles and how the pieces actually fall in. I don't want any of the leaves to be like at an angle or not connected to the stud underneath very well. I want it to be as good as it could be. So yeah, what I'm saying is it takes just time and patience, and you can't really rush it. But yeah, I will do my best to continue, and hopefully I'll be done with all of this by the time this video has to come out. So yeah, let's keep building and see how far I go. Well, it took about 20 hours, but glad to report I am done and even have some time to reflect. So let's go over it. Here is the part that you have seen. Now everything is placed. A bit of a different angle. So we start from here. This is where the side building will be. This one over here. So we start from here and then go around. This is the front, so to say, and then this is the point where we start having some rock work. I tested different stuff, but decided to remove all the leaves that were around the rock work and to use these other pieces instead on these vertical sections. I still feel like something is missing from these rocks, like maybe we need another color and something maybe to place on these studs, on these moss green, if they're even moss green. I think that's a different color, but I digress. On these plants, something on top, but I don't really know what. But I feel like this is better than the leaves, and also these are very flexible because these 3 leaves here, they are different heights, so it's very helpful to rotate them here and there. So here is the path. It's still rather straight, but the different kind of shapes that are around the edges make it better. Like I explained, there isn't really much room to have big curves, but anyway, this is supposed to be rather straight, but still it's not as straight as it was before. It's more like of a snaky pattern, so I like it. And the bushes are here. These are a little bit enriched. Then we have these kind of flowers, but I decided to use some reddish brown for contrast, and because these were kind of too tall now, so they are not really flowers, but more like bushes, or bushes that are blooming. And we have different patterns, like I explained with the leaves. We are using 5 colors in total, and this is the corner, the back side, obviously over here where the rock work starts, and then we go all the way around here where there's still more rock work going on. The patterns are continuing, and we end up over here where the build currently ends, but the little alley and rock work will continue in this direction, with the side building that will continue over here, and this little path will end at some point. The braziers are again back, spaced out relatively at the similar intervals. And yeah, I am actually pretty happy with this. The difference is tremendous, and this cost a lot of parts. I guess if I had more types of parts, I would make it even more with more variety, but I feel like this is good enough. And I feel like this way of making different clumps of leaves, for example, here we have moss green, then we have lime green, then we have dark green, then we have gold, or well, it's not gold, more like yellowish, yellow orange, then we have bright green, and then the pattern continues, but never the two simultaneous lines of leaves, they're never at the same time overlapping. So if we here have moss green, then the moss green on this line is all the way here, and so on. So it really brings a lot of colors. So I'm kind of pleased with the way that this is. So yeah, all in all, I feel like this is time well spent, and I'm really happy to be able to come back again at this thing and make it better. Now, does this mean that this will never be reworked? I don't know. Probably at some point it might get reworked if I really envision something a lot better than this. What I could do is improve the rocks a little bit, but that I don't see it doing that in the near future, should I say. It just takes so long, and I feel like these rocks are fine, they just need minor tweaks. So I would rather maybe make them from scratch if I make any rocks again. So maybe I'll just do some little repairs here and there at some point when I feel like doing rocks. I think that's the least favorite thing that I have experienced with mocking so far in the past 3.5 years or so since I started this project. Just rocks are very ungrateful. It takes so much time, and they're never good enough. It's never good enough, and it just, yeah, maybe I'm just bad at it. But I mean, I've seen rocks that are a lot worse than this, but obviously there are some other techniques that are not used here, like building with brackets or building sideways. Not, I mean, there is some building sideways here, but very little. And I not really like using big pieces, which most people tend to do. I mean, it's a lot easier and a lot faster, but to me it looks terrible. So, but yeah, the rocks maybe will be improved sooner than the whole garden thing. I feel like I'm pretty pleased for the time being with this. It's very colorful, very contrasting with the whole building. So yeah, I feel like this is very nice. It follows a pattern, but at the same time there is a lot of variety. When you look from afar, it looks really nice, but when you look from close by, it still looks pretty good. So yeah, maybe I'll consider adding some more minifigures and some more storytelling at some point. But yeah, let's actually rotate this to the normal angle before I wrap this up. Back where we started, with all the garden things done. Now we are at the end of this whole refreshing the Great Hall after the latest rebuild. The only thing that's pretty much left to do are the kitchens, and that's what I'll be doing next time. I'm not really sure whether I'll be able to finish that in one go, or it depends really on all the pieces that I have. I have quite a few, a whole drawer that I have stacked with different stuff to put in the kitchens. Obviously I don't have enough house shelves. I would like to have like at least 15. I think I have like 7 or 8, which I probably will not place all of them. But yeah, that's what I'm doing next time. So yeah, here is the Great Hall. Here is how big a minifigure is. This is the 3 broomsticks that I did a while back. You can watch that series and see how that was built and what's inside. And this is how big the Great Hall is. My god, this thing is huge, huge, huge. 1.5 meters, over 1.5 meters, 150 centimeters long. For comparison, here is the Home Alone. Wow. Well, I'm glad that I managed to finish the gardens in the time that I had, and actually film this and get this video out. Let me know what you think. I am really pleased with the result of the gardens. I thought that the final result was pretty good. I have gotten some different opinions from my inner circle, that some people are on the fence whether something should have been done the way they were, but I want to know your opinion. Or if you would like to join the inner circle, you could always check how to become a member of this channel. But yeah, time for some rest for me. Thank you for watching. Like always, please hit that like button, leave down a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel if you want to support what I'm doing. I will see you again in the next 2 weeks or so with, like I said, the kitchens, hopefully. Until then, stay healthy. All the best. Happy building, and bye for now.